You must be careful about the words you use, or the words you allow to be used in your house. Words are things. You must be careful. Careful about calling people out of their names, using racial pejoratives and sexual pejoratives and all that ignorance. Don't do that.
It's time to talk about it.
Pull up a chair and take a seat.
We're serving up recipes for life.
With Hampton University's Dr. Richard Mason and Dr. Tamara Williams.
Welcome to the Sunday Brunch.
This is Dr. Tamara Williams.
And this is Dr. Richard Mason, and welcome back to the table for another edition of Sunday Brunch with the Good Doctors.
The good doctors, indeed.
Yes, welcome back, sis. How you been?
I have been, as we always start and say, I have been. Lord knows I have been, and I'm thankful.
Yes.
I'm thankful that we're here at the table, but I've been through a few challenges.
I hear
Yeah.
but what you said, Lord knows. You know what I'm saying? So I have been, all right?
I have been, which means I have already gone through those things, and I'm on the other side, and so I'm
That's
thankful
right.
for that.
And look, and being thankful, we're going to always give him thanks in all
Yeah.
things. You know what I'm saying?
In all things.
In all things, give him thanks. You know?
In all things, he has kept me.
And you know that's a blessing. I was having a conversation with someone last week just in terms of, recognizing that you're definitely going to go through things. The longer that you live, you're going to have some things that you're going to go through, but it's how you go through those things that certainly will make a difference.
And as I said, go through things. Sometimes it's even go through people.
Love.
Let's just be clear. It's often
Listen.
the extraness that other people bring into our lives that really complicate things. And so when I say going through things, it's really getting through things and maneuvering around things and allowing the Christian in me to remain intact.
Well, like I always tell folks, be careful now, because see, I love the Lord, and there are different sizes, different sides to Jesus. You know what I'm saying? I'm Jesus in the temple when he turned the table over.
You to flip the table type, huh?
Yeah. So know what you're getting. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I don't do too much
It's
turning
important.
cheeks, right? I don't do
It's
too much
important.
turning cheeks now.
Listen, I'm not the 70 times 7 type of Christian.
Listen,
You may get one cheek turn. You might get the one, and I'm gonna pray for you. But after I have prayed for you, I have done all that I can do.
Love what they say. I'm not gonna keep wasting the Lord time praying for you. You know what I'm saying?
I guess that's why we twins. We got to balance it out. They'll get a little bit more prayer from me, but not statistically more. Not significantly more. That's for sure.
No,
That's
but
for sure.
and when I'm getting into those moments, I'm thankful for his grace and his mercy.
Yes, and I am thankful that he has blessed me with emotional intelligence. That I
Yes.
have the capacity to not react, but I have the ability to respond
Exactly.
to things, and so I'm thankful for that.
Mm-hmm.
Which brings us to our conversation that we're going to be having today, because we're going to be talking about some health issues and some health concerns that we're finding ourselves in. And I know that for sure, when people don't handle their levels of stress, they can find themselves in all kinds of health issues and concerns.
Exactly. And that's why I've declared, at this stage of my life, when I'm done, when the conversation is done, I'm just walking away. And sometimes folks look at me like I was in the middle of something. Oh, I was done.
Oh, you weren't done, but I was.
Yeah, I was done.
Oh, we weren't done.
Yeah.
You weren't done, but I was
That's
done.
right.
Okay.
And I have to remind people, I'm not billing your insurance for just general conversations, and so if I'm not billing your insurance, I don't sit there, because sometimes people will unload their foolishness on you, and then you're stuck with it, and so I just can't put myself in that position anymore, allowing people just to unload their foolishness, and then they go on about their day, and then you're sitting here with this
Yeah.
heavy burden sitting on you, creating undue stress, blood pressure going up, and everything else or whatever. So no, like I said,
And you're not getting paid for it because
no,
it is not in. It's
no. Pull out your insurance card and give me them co-pays. That's what it's all about, co-pays and insurance card.
I tell them it's a conflict of interest. I know you. You're gonna have to go see somebody else. Let me refer you. I'm no longer
Look,
operating in that realm at this moment.
right.
Let me find you somebody who can help you.
Right, exactly. But we definitely got to be able to take care of ourselves and do better, do
Do
much better.
better. Do better.
Exactly. Yeah. And so
Do
I know for
better.
me, there are things that I'm doing now to better my own health, so that I can continue to eat my bacon, So I kind of try to balance it, as best I can, and yeah, y'all should see, I guess she's sitting here looking at me right now. Y'all should see her because when I start talking about bacon, she give me that strange look.
Listen,
I don't
because
care what she say.
listen, because last time we had her on the show, she was talking about intermittent fasting. So and health and
Oh God.
and your bacon and that does not go together all the way.
The
So
devil is a liar.
but how we feel about bacon. So we will not be entertaining that idea. That's not even today's topic. That's not even today's topic. But
No. Mm-mm.
as we are here now in like the month of cancer awareness, it's something that a lot of times people talk about, but they don't always actually do anything about it. And
Mm-hmm.
so I wanted to leave room today to talk about a lot of different health issues, but I did want us to make sure that we were able to focus on, that cancer and maybe one other type of cancer that's impacting males as well,
Mm-hmm.
because it's
Mm-hmm.
out there. It's out there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's out there.
Yes.
And our people need to understand that it's not going away, but we have to do something about it, and awareness is key. So, prevention may not be always there, but awareness is key. So I definitely
Yes.
want to make sure that we made space at the table to have this serious conversation.
Yes. Well, you go ahead and get started. And introduce our guest. I'm going to head on to the buffet line. You
Get
know
the
what?
bacon before she says
Yeah.
anything about it.
Listen. I'm gonna bring her a plate back too with some bacon on
And the
it.
biscuits and the honey butter.
I got you covered.
Listen, we're not worried about cholesterol today. That would not be in the conversation. I want to welcome to our table. I can't even tell you how many times she has been on the show. She is what I consider our resident doctor and expert when it comes to health related things. We've had her on several times, and it's always, when are we going to see you the next time? She's super, super busy. But I want to welcome to the table Dr. Jamesia Braxton. Welcome
Hey,
to Sunday
Yes.
Brunch.
Welcome.
thank you so much. I'm back here just laughing at y'all. I'm like, Lord have mercy. Bacon with health together. Okay.
Yes, yeah. Listen, sometimes you gotta laugh to keep from crying. And one of the things, even in health, and you're cutting out things, you don't always have to cut out everything. And that's just one
Mhm.
of our non-negotiables.
Mhm.
Moderation.
That's right.
Yes.
That's it. Moderation. I don't have to eat the whole pack of bacon. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
So,
no. Definitely not the whole packet of
mm-mm.
bacon. But on Sundays, I do enjoy my bacon.
Yes.
On Sundays at Sunday brunch, I do enjoy my bacon.
Oh,
Exactly.
listen, we're not gonna have that conversation then, because I'm gonna tell y'all.
What you gonna tell me?
It is not the best of meat you can be eating. Okay.
Look here. Let me tell you, the bacon is the most holiest and sacrificial.
Yeah.
Understand that
Okay.
that pig gave its life. You know what I'm saying? See, the chicken donated. See, the chicken just contributed, just gave the egg. You know what I'm saying? But that pig gave his life, and the Lord wants a sacrifice. You understand? So
Uh,
the bacon is holy. It's holy. All
did
right.
he say bacon was whole? Okay.
Bacon is holy. You
So what?
understand?
I see where this is going. You're not giving it
Li-
up. You're not giving it up.
listen.
I'm just following the scriptures.
Listen. I know a lot of people out there would tell you that you are not, but they are not our guests today. And we are not entertaining that as well. But moderation is definitely key, and we
Yes.
say this all in jest. I think that those who really know us do know that we enjoy bacon, but know that we're really just having a good time about just brunch in general. Feeding our spirit, our souls, and our bellies all at the same time.
Same time.
At the
So
same
welcome
time.
back to the table, Dr. J. Welcome back to the table.
Thank you. Thank you. And you guys are looking well. You guys are doing really, really well. I love y'all's show. I love being here. And y'all, y'all my people.
Thank you.
You
Thank you.
are people too.
Exactly.
You are people too, and that's why, as we are in this moment with breast cancer awareness, I wanted to bring you back on and have the conversation and see if some
Mhm.
things you wanted to share with us, some things that we just need to know or we are ignoring, or what are some important things that you think our listeners need to hear about.
All right. Well, since we are talking about bacon, I'm just going to roll right on into some of the things we need to do to just decrease the risk of breast
Oh,
Okay.
cancer. Okay.
Okay. All right. All right.
okay, we'll start there.
It
Mm-hmm.
has to do with your diet. It has
Mm-hmm.
to do with your
We
diet.
won't start there. We won't start there.
Don't start there. Don't start there.
No, no. In all seriousness, absolutely. Tell us what we need to do.
Yep. Yep. Listen, first, I will say, my brother right here, I will
Mm-hmm.
say moderation. Okay. Moderation.
Mm-hmm.
But really, 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 there are so many things we can do ourselves to prevent a lot of these diseases that we have. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of time we can't prevent, but oftentimes we can. And it does start with what we put in our mouth. And I think I say this every time I'm on this show. It's
Mm-hmm.
about what we put in our mouth. So foods that are very rich in vitamins like fruits, vegetables, fiber, things like that, you want to increase that
Mm-hmm.
diet. You want to stay away from a lot of fatty foods, a lot of pork. You want to stay away from an excessive amount of alcohol and cigarette smoking. So,
Mm-hmm.
and you definitely want to exercise.
Mm-hmm.
Starts there. It really does with most all diseases, to be honest with you.
Okay. Well, how about no cigarettes? You don't have to worry about me there. So
Okay, okay.
Ditto, ditto. That
yeah.
is not my ministry.
Okay, well, also, we're going to say, since it is legal here in Virginia, I'm going to say marijuana also, any type or form of smoking, y'all.
Mm-mm.
And often people, when you say, do you smoke? They automatically think cigarettes, but it's
Right.
also the cigars. It's also the smoking of the ganja,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
also any type of pipes, any type of
Mm-hmm.
consumption of nicotine.
Mm-hmm. Now let me ask you a question because cigars you really don't inhale. Pipes you don't really inhale per se. You know what I mean? And so talk to me about that. Is it
I
just being
can't.
around the secondhand smoke of the cigar or the pipe?
Now, listen, I cannot say whether they're inhaling or not. I've actually never smoked a pipe or a cigar or a
Mm-hmm.
cigarette, but I'm just telling you statistically
Okay.
type of smoking.
Okay. All right. All right.
Mason, I mean, if you think about it, if secondhand smoke can do it, then the
Mhm.
one smoking or not smoking is getting the same effect, right?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
any form of smoking, I would say. Yeah. So we definitely have to take
Mm-hmm.
care of what we're putting in our bodies and how we are monitoring and managing our environments. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So not only our diet, I would say exercising, at least getting 30 minutes in, at least 5 days a week, exercise and managing our waist and our obesity.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really, it's a problem.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so we have to manage that as well because being overweight is a risk factor in breast cancer.
Mm.
Really?
Yes, it is. And one more thing that I do want to point out is that 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in her lifetime.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
I've recently read those statistics and that
Mm-hmm.
they were saying pretty much everybody is going to be impacted by cancer, especially if you live long enough.
Yeah, if you live.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And surprisingly enough, for prostate cancer, 1 in 8 men
Mm-hmm.
diagnosed in their lifetime.
And this area is very high. It's a high rate of men with prostate cancer.
Mhm.
I remember going to the the Hampton Roads Prostate Forum,
Mhm.
and they were just talking about the number of men. This is a high risk area, and they really don't know why. Just thinking, and if I don't recall them being able to state why, I think the speculation was looking at the high number of military men in the area and the fact that for that population, they're getting checked, because of the physicals that have to happen and all as well. Some of those issues are being discovered. Prostate cancer is being discovered during some of these routine physicals and things of that nature and all, versus most men typically don't go to the doctor regularly like they should. But in these areas where you have, like I said, a higher concentration of men, but you're talking about the military bases and all or whatever, this could also be a reason why. I would hate to just think it's the community that we live in that's causing this.
And it is exactly the fact what you just said about more men. More.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have more men that are actually getting testing, the
Mm-hmm.
numbers go up. So when
Mm-hmm.
Naturally.
you have the numbers and you're doing the testing, those numbers go up. And
Mm-hmm.
this is the hub for the military. We have tons of testing. We do testing all the
Mm-hmm.
time. So
Right.
that's probably most likely the reason. Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, you mentioned women, and you mentioned weight as a factor. I
Yeah.
do know some are predisposed because of family-related issues and genetics, I guess. And I don't know if you want to say genetics, but certain things are passed down. If you have a mother, an aunt, sisters, and all that have had breast cancer, they want to screen you sooner. Am I correct?
Yes, that is correct. The
Mm-hmm.
screening normally does happen somewhere around 45, 44 to 45. But if you're a higher risk, you will start get
Mm-hmm.
screening earlier, closer to age 40, if
Mm-hmm.
if not earlier. So
Mm-hmm.
women who are, of course, have a hereditary family member or whatnot, they are at higher risk. Being
Mm-hmm.
African American, you're at higher risk. Being older, you're at a higher risk. So those things, smoking, higher risk, like I said earlier. So
Mm-hmm.
those things do put you at a higher risk. Hmm.
Hmm.
What makes you at higher risk by just aging?
Oh, well,
What do you,
of course, because you're living longer and you're exposed to more things. You just
so it's just natural things and toxins that you may be exposed to just because you're living. Okay, got you.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I
Okay.
didn't know if it's because you're taking medications or I guess they could be
A
considered.
lot of those things can be added to the list as well. But just because
Mhm.
you're older doesn't mean you take a lot of medicines.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, has it been linked to things like just blood flow and all or whatever? Because I forgot where I was, and somebody was talking in reference to connecting high blood pressure, cholesterol issues, and things of that nature. Um, to women with breast cancer and stuff like that or whatever. Um, does that sound like it was making any sense, or is that any type of connectivity, especially you thinking when folks are talking about being predisposed to something, you
Mhm.
know?
Well, yes. I mean, there are certain instances where if you have certain diseases, you are at higher risk for other things,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like diabetes, like hypertension, smoking,
Mm-hmm.
heart disease, all of those things. But that's anything. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
But the main thing, like I said before, is making sure that we're taking care of our diet, making sure we're taking care of our weight, making sure we're checking our blood pressure, taking our medication for those types and kinds of things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's not hand in hand. It's not,
Right.
it's just, you're just at a higher risk for whatever. for having the breast cancer.
Right.
I was hearing too about with African American women and them having like dense breasts. Can
Mhm.
you tell us anything about that?
Yeah. So if you have denser breasts, that does put you at a higher risk of having a form of breast cancer. All breast cancers are not created equally. There are invasive and non-invasive, right? And when you have a less invasive or stage of cancer or breast cancer, you
Mm.
are at a higher risk of being cured of it, right? Um, but to your question about the density of the breast, when our breasts are denser, it just, for whatever reason, it just puts us at higher risk of having breast cancer. So we definitely need to be checked. However, sometimes just dense breast does not lead to breast cancer, but it can show up on a mammogram as something that looks abnormal. So we would have to get maybe an ultrasound or some type of biopsy to make sure our dense breast is not a cancer. Did I answer
Mm.
your question?
Yes. Yes. Yes, because I know that a lot of women who are African American have found that to be so, where, they feel like they're having lumps or they're feeling some things there that um, people are saying is not an issue or concern, but many of us are still concerned. So that was my question.
hmm Yeah, and Black women are at a higher risk of mortality than white women.
Why is that? Is that just the natural health disparities that seem to be happening out there with
Yeah,
African American women?
well, we don't get tested as often. We don't do as well statistically. So they say, who knows if we're doing it or not, as far as feeling our breasts and doing self breast exams, um, not having insurance, health insurance, uh, things like that keep us at a higher risk. Also, our survival rate is lower once we do get breast cancer. Their survival rate is 92% survival if we catch it within 5 years, and African American women is like 82% if we catch it within 5 years. So,
That's statistically significant right there. That 10% that's
yeah,
massive.
yeah, it is. It is. So, which means we need to be checking our breast, right? The the reason why sometimes we don't check our breast is because we don't even talk about it. We don't talk to each
Mhm.
other about it. We don't teach our girls how to do self breast exams, let alone touch our own breasts. Some women don't touch their own breasts. Some women don't know what private parts look like, which, we need to be a little bit more aware and a little bit more focused on our health. But we're a
Mhm.
very vain culture. So sometimes we don't even want to deal with, hey, my nipple might be inverted when it wasn't inverted last month, and I don't want to tell anybody about it. I'm,
Mm.
I'm just gonna keep on moving.
Now that's a
Mhm.
new one. I had not heard that one.
What's that?
Mhm.
Your
A
nipple
sign?
being inverted. Yeah.
Oh, well, some people have naturally inverted nipples, but what I'm saying is from a nipple being on the
Not
out,
inverted. Yes.
right, and all of a sudden now my right
Mhm.
one is inverted. So that is a sign that you possibly
Mhm.
have something going on. Your
Mhm.
turning dimply looking like an orange peel, having pain
Mhm.
in your breast, swelling, redness. Those things are signs that something's going on. And oftentimes, because we're too darn busy, we just don't
Mhm.
get it checked out. I mean, we're
Mhm.
doing it all, right? We're working
Busy taking care of other people and not really focusing on ourselves.
and not
Yes.
really
Mhm.
focusing on ourselves. Yeah. So,
Mhm.
And
yeah.
we don't have the time to be exhausted in many ways.
Hmm.
So, I'm glad we're having this conversation. So hopefully
Mhm.
people will stop and
Mhm.
and get checked.
hmm Let me
Absolutely.
ask you this. When you mentioned aging and as part of one of the risk factors, does that have anything to do with menopause, perimenopause, and I would just say some of the hormonal changes that occur in women during those time periods?
Yes, yes, it can. Yes, it can. Because some breast cancers are hormone dependent. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
hmm it can. hmm
Hmm.
And
Okay.
we stop producing
Mm-hmm.
estrogen, which is our vitality. It's what keeps us sane. Is our
Mm-hmm.
estrogen. And when that estrogen level is lower, it increases the risk or the potentiality of getting some type of breast cancers or some type
Mm-hmm.
of cancers in general. Yeah. hmm
Okay.
What can be done about that? Or can anything be done about that? Or is something that people take?
Now, this, you mean as far as estrogen or?
Right. If you're saying that that could be an issue where the loss of that hormone may start producing some of these or triggering some of the cancer that may already be in your body.
Well, listen, that's a whole different topic, but
Mm-hmm.
at a certain, depending on your age and depending on your risk factors, can you take hormones, right?
Mm-hmm.
Over the age of 60 and you've been without estrogen for 10 years, then it's a riskier thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't want to cause any problems by giving you estrogen and causing a form of cancer because unopposed estrogen can cause some cancer in your body, right? So we don't want to do that. So it's a little bit sticky and everybody is different. So you need to talk to your primary care provider about it if you feel that you need estrogen in your life and you're over the age of 60. I hope I
Mm-hmm.
answered that.
Yes, you answered that correct. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the main thing that I would say is that we definitely need to be doing more breast exams, self breast exams. We need
Mm-hmm.
to be aware of our bodies. We need to be looking at our breasts. And if we are of a certain age, sometimes I did a talk here well, over at Hampton University last year in March. And I talked, oh, was it last year or this year? I don't know, y'all, I'm getting old, but it was about breast cancer. And I had a group of women
Mm-hmm.
and the women were older because I did it for the Osher group.
Mhm.
And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of those women told me after I mentioned the fact that some women don't even look at their bodies, some of the women were candid enough to tell me that they used to be very ashamed to even touch their breast or even look at their own breast. So if you are one of those women and you are hearing this show today, then I'm going to tell you that if you cannot look at your breast and you don't want to touch your breast, have your partner do it. Have your partner help you and do your breast exams for you so that if he feels something differently, he can tell you, oh, I feel a lump, or I feel like this is different from what it was. Oh, I noticed that you have some discharge from your nipple when we have
Mm-hmm.
our fun time. So those are some things you can do. Have your partner help you if you are to the point where you can't do that yourself.
I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate you addressing that generational difference because a lot of people may not have thought about that, but some older ladies may not have been in the generation of the touching of yourself and how that was very
Mm-hmm.
taboo and those type of things. So they may not be comfortable assessing those things.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you about because when I was thinking about the hormones and stuff like that or whatever, um, I remember hearing something about the use of birth control or oral contraceptives. How does that impact breast cancer?
When you say the use of it, meaning like if I'm 25 and I'm on birth control?
Yeah, for a long period of time. Because, I know that gets into a lot of the hormonal changes. Has there been some research that somewhat connects, I guess, the overextended use of oral contraceptives to breast cancer?
Any long-term hormonal use can be a risk factor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you have to think of it like this, and this is what I tell women. The reason why we take birth control pills every day is because once you stop taking them, they clear from your body. They clear from your system.
Mm-hmm.
So the likelihood that long-term hormone replacement or oral contraceptives is the cause of your breast cancer is very small.
Okay. Okay.
Does that
You're
make
saying because it doesn't have that lifespan within your system as long
right?
as
Mm-hmm.
okay.
That's why
In
we take it
fact,
every day. That's why we take it every day because it clears our system so quickly.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yes, long-term use has been linked, but a very small percentage. What percentage? I don't have that on hand.
Mm-hmm.
Small percentage.
Okay. Now let me ask you this. I'll shift slight shift for a second here. Um, Men with breast cancer, because I don't know if as many men know that men can get breast cancer as well. Can you talk a
sure
little bit?
can.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit about that?
Family history,
Hmm.
a history of smoking.
Hmm.
Obese men can get gynomastia. Men with
Hmm.
gynomastia can get it. It can be from some medication side effects also. Approximately 60,000 men will be diagnosed in 2025.
Hmm.
Approximately 300,000 women will be diagnosed in 2025. So
Hmm.
men can't, okay, no, those statistics, I'm sorry, I'm a little bit high on the men. I'm sorry, approximately 3,000 men.
Hmm.
So I'll back up on that. So yes, men can get breast cancer. Men, as a
Hmm.
matter of fact, in my time of treating patients, I've had two males with breast cancer.
Hmm.
I've been practicing for over 20 years. So,
Hmm. Hmm. And a friend of mine, a really good friend of mine, actually, he had breast cancer, and
mhm,
that was when he first said it that he had breast cancer. I thought maybe I didn't hear him, and I said, "Oh, I thought you had cancer." Did your wife have? He said, "No, it was me with breast cancer,"
right.
and so I had to back up for a minute, and that was probably about 10 or 15 years ago, and that was the first time I'd heard of a man actually getting breast cancer
Mhm,
and hearing some of the risk factors.
mhm.
The question becomes, what are some of the risk factors for men? Because everything that you've talked about in terms of the hormonal changes and things of that nature and stuff like that or whatever, with the exception, of course, um,
Diet.
DNA and all, what are the factors there for men?
Same. They're the same for men as they are for the women. The same.
Mm-hmm.
The same. But in men, it's more or less it's linked more so to heredity
Mm-hmm.
and family lineage. And also it could be a lot of things as far as radiation exposure, things like
Mm-hmm.
can increase the risk in men, but obesity is high on the list as well. So those are some of the things. I don't know about your friend. Was your friend obese at all or
Not at all.
not at
Yeah,
all?
yeah, and that was surprising because very fit in the gym and everything or whatever. And so, like I said, it just kind of threw us for a loop when he mentioned that he had breast cancer.
Hmm.
So we're just real surprised.
Yeah, yeah.
Is there some type of blood test that people take to determine whether or not they have levels of cancer or
Well, there are some blood tests that genetic testing that you can do to see if you'll have a higher risk of developing the deadlier
Hmm.
cancers, and that's the BRCA1 and BRCA2.
Hmm.
And yes, so those are the tests.
is that something that you can just go and ask your doctor for, or is that something that they have to think that you have cancer in order to request those tests?
You can request the testing from your doctor if if you feel like you have a chance of developing breast cancer. I mean,
Hmm.
I think you can ask your doctor to test you for just about anything if you feel like there's a need. They'll
Hmm.
do it, but and not that you're to pay for it, but
See, that's what I was talking about. Could
Right.
do they have to actually think that you have a reason in order for them to actually prescribe that test?
no, not the BRCA 1 and 2.
Okay.
Hmm. Hmm. Because I was going to say, in terms of the testing, men, of course, can get their, PSAs checked and everything, do some blood work and all.
Mhm.
Of course, the digital rectal tests and everything, whatever. But blood work can be done to look at prostate cancer
Mhm.
levels and all or whatever. So they can check it, check that through blood work. But in regards to like breast cancer,
Mhm.
that's where you're recommending the BRCA1 and BRCA2 type of test.
Yeah, that's the test. I'm not recommending that. I'm just saying
Okay.
that's the test. What I'm recommending is that we do self breast exams and that we look at our breast every month.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Every month. And we feel all of our breast tissue. We feel under our right arm and we feel under our left arm and we feel all around to see if
Hmm.
we have any lumps, bumps, or anything abnormal. That
Okay.
when we stand in front of the mirror and we put our hands above our head, we put our hands on our hips, and we look at our breast and we see if our nipples look the same. We
Hmm.
any discharge, if there's any redness, anything that looks abnormal, any discoloration, anything.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And it's not based on cup size.
No, it is not based on cup size at all.
And I was thinking too, like maybe discussing that at certain times of the month that it would be naturally different so that
Yeah, so you want to do your breast exam at least a week after your cycle because, when you have a cycle, you have a lot of hormones and you have a lot going on and you have your breast doing a lot of different things. You'll have a lot more fluid, you'll have a lot more action going on during your cycle time because your body's getting prepared, to
Hmm.
do what it needs to do. So it's best to check your breast at least a week after your cycle.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like I said, if you're out there and you're over the age of 40, or if you're 40, you should be getting your mammogram um, at least every year. You can stop getting your mammogram yearly after the age of 55 or so. And then once you reach the age of 75, you probably can stop getting testing at all. But if you do have a high risk, or if you've ever had breast cancer, you'll probably be doing mammograms until for the rest of your life, just to make sure nothing has reoccurred. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
That's what I
why
was,
why do you get to stop testing as you've gotten older?
Well,
Is
the,
it because you would not be a candidate for treatment any longer or
that is one thing. And the other thing is, it's just, you just normally don't find it in the older age. And then the treatment is probably a little bit more invasive than what you would want to do at that age,
okay.
depending on who you are.
Hmm. Well, women live longer than men, so that's why I was wondering, even y'all stress us out. You know what I'm
look,
saying?
stop, stop. Y'all
Y'all
don't go
run
get
out,
help.
y'all
That's what it
y'all
is.
run
Y'all
our
don't
blood
go get
pressure
seen. Y'all don't
up.
go get help. You run our blood pressure up too.
No, no, we don't. No, we don't.
And the other thing too that I want to hit on is that some people don't want to go for a mammogram sometimes because they don't want to know, right?
Hmm.
Um, and sometimes it's a hard thing, especially if you have a family history. What I'm going to say to you is if you're out there and you have not had a mammogram and you know that you should have been having mammograms,
Hmm.
then take somebody with you that you trust, that will hold your hand, that will baby you, whatever you need to do.
Hmm.
Get a mammogram because knowing is half the battle. And then you can decide what to do. But if you're not getting any testing, then you're also deciding as well. You're deciding to do nothing, you know,
Hmm.
in case
Hmm.
something's going on. and we have to take control. And I know sometimes it's hard. It is hard to face the testing.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to get tested for STDs. It's hard to get tested for your cholesterol because you don't want to face what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Telling you is knowledge is power. Knowledge is
Mm-hmm.
power. And it's your health is worth more than anything that you can control in your life. It's your health.
Mm-hmm.
Worth more
See,
than one thing.
I hear this speech every time I go to the doctor from the nurse because they want me to get on that scale. And I always tell them, I don't need that negativity in my life. I'm not getting on the scale. They said, well, you need to know how much you weigh.
I have to be honest, it's been a minute since I hopped on a scale. Usually they just go ahead and write it in the book. I don't even ask the number. I just like to know how my clothes fit.
Right.
Right. Mm-hmm. What do I look like I weigh? We're gonna go with that.
Yeah.
But all seriousness, people do need to go and get checked, and they
Yeah.
need to know where they can go and get checked. And
Mm-hmm.
you mentioned primary care physicians can order tests, can do those things for you. You can
Mm-hmm.
have your partner kind of do some screening for you, but to see if something's changed, you can do some of the screening yourself. But the thing is, it needs to get done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, it needs to
Mm-hmm.
get done. And not only for women, for men also get those PSAs because Black men are dropping right on down from prostate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If by chance you notice that your stream when you go to the bathroom is not as strong, if you've noticed that you're having erectile dysfunction when you're younger, if you notice that it's painful when you ejaculate, a lot
Mm-hmm.
of things that men just don't face and they think that because they are going to have a finger digital rectal exam, we don't have to
Mm-hmm.
do that anymore, y'all. We really don't. All we have to do is a little bit of testing. So
Mm-hmm.
we don't have to do the digital rectal, so don't be afraid.
Mm-hmm.
What's the little bit of testing? What's the little bit of testing?
Oh, just take
Just
your blood or
some blood work. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, listen. I'm not worried nor concerned about it, but for our listeners, this is life changing for them because if they were afraid before,
Mm-hmm.
because if you say it's just a little bit of testing, yeah, do tell them what
Mm-hmm.
this little bit of testing is, so they can go ahead and line up.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's the catching breast cancer and catching prostate cancer early,
Mm-hmm.
as we have been very successful with curing it.
Mm-hmm.
If you
Mm-hmm.
catch it early, if you don't catch it early, then it spreads. Then it takes over. Then the next thing you know, it's somewhere else, like in your lungs, in your brain,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
somewhere else where it's just not controllable anymore. And then, you know,
You've waited too long at that point.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
That's when you talk about stage 4.
yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
As far
Now,
as breast cancer is concerned, stage 1, 2, and 3 are more contained, and we can most likely get it and be done with it. Whereas stage 4, it has moved to another part of your body. It has moved out of the mammary glands or the lobes, and it has moved into your chest, into a
mm-hmm.
spread into the rest of your breast. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Let's talk treatment options. We can start with breast cancer, because I've heard where some women have gone in and had double mastectomies and things of that nature right out the gate. Hey, this is what I'm just don't want to do that. And then of course you have other types of treatment. What are some treatment options that for women to consider when they find out they may have breast cancer?
Yeah, so there's of course surgery. There's um if if it's contained in one area of the breast, you can just cut that area out.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can have chemotherapy, you can do radiation, you can do both. Um,
Mm-hmm.
there's oral chemotherapy. There's also, you can go in the hospital and get chemotherapy there. There's like you said, a mastectomy, a lumpectomy.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Mm-hmm.
different things you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have to get rid of your whole breast, but if you did, then there's cosmetic surgery, where you
Mm-hmm.
get breast implants, and they look just like regular breasts and not like we used to have, all that crazy looking stuff. But you would never know, like literally. But those are the treatments. Hmm.
Hmm.
Um,
And what about men with prostate cancer?
hmm there's chemotherapy, radiation therapy, proton therapy, and of
Hmm.
course, there's surgery.
Okay. Okay. Now, you just threw out proton
Mhm.
therapy. What are your thoughts on proton therapy? What information can you share with our listening audience on proton therapy?
I'm going to be honest with you. I believe this is just me. This is a Jamesiaism. I
Hmm.
believe proton therapy is one of the better therapies as it pertains to prostate cancer because it's completely isolated to that one area that you're working on, and it gets that area and it's gone. Whereas other forms of therapy
Hmm.
bleed over into other parts of the body.
Hmm.
Can affect other parts, but this is very targeted. It's laser focused, and
Hmm.
I think it's one of the better therapies. That's just me, a Jamesiaism.
Hmm. And that's
Well,
what I
we
thought.
invited you on the show for your isms for sure.
Uh-huh. Exactly, exactly. And that's one of the things, when you're talking about proton therapy, and that's why I asked the question, because I know sometimes it's a battle with insurance companies to get certain treatments.
Yeah.
And I know that proton therapy was one of those challenges, or continues to be one
Hmm.
of those challenges and all. But as you recognize, or you stated that, hey, that your Jamesiaism is that proton therapy is one of the best because it goes directly, you're shooting that
Yeah,
beam right to the source,
yeah,
versus, it's a difference between I would say shooting with the rifle versus shooting with a shotgun. You're going straight to the source with with
absolutely.
with that proton therapy treatment and all. And I know, unfortunately, things get to a place where it's a financial situation with insurance companies. They're trying to save as much money as they can, so
Hmm.
they'll come up with other options and all as well. But want to make sure people know that that's something for them to consider.
Hmm.
Um, Now,
And we have a whole proton
yes.
institute program right here at Hip University. So I'm not
Mm-hmm.
afraid to say that I'm absolutely biased.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard a lot of stories from the different galas of people that have been impacted by that treatment and how it
Mm-hmm.
saved their lives. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, people truly have sung the praises of Hampton University Proton Therapy Cancer Treatment Center. People
Mhm.
are really, really thinking about that and all, and it's done some amazing work. So definitely it's something that we certainly can recommend to our listening audience, that if you find yourself in that situation, to certainly have that conversation with your doctor, your oncologist. About treatment options, and look at what proton therapy can possibly do for the type of cancer, should you be diagnosed with cancer.
Hmm. Absolutely, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And for our listeners who may not have a place to be screened, I know that the Hampton chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated is having an event on October the 13th where they're inviting people in the community to come on out and be screened. And they're going to
Mm.
be at Zion Baptist Church. So if you are in the local area on October the 13th, go on out there and get screened.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And so I think the biggest thing that you guys need to take away from this conversation on my end is that prevention,
Mm-hmm.
one look, 1 ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Mm-hmm.
Do your breast exams, get screened, get your mammograms, do all the things, go see your doctor, talk to your children, talk to your daughters, talk to your aunts, uncles, whomever, especially in the African American community, about preventative health.
Mm-hmm.
Focus on preventing this stuff before it comes down Because if your body's in shambles with diabetes, if your body's in shambles with hypertension, all of those things, and then you have cancer come along as well, you're already on the, you have to come up to make,
Mhm.
you know, to gain. What am I trying to say? You're coming from the rear.
You're already in a loss, is
You're
what you're
already
saying.
Mhm.
at a loss,
You're
is what I'm
operating in
trying
a
to say.
Mhm.
deficit. You're
There you
Right.
operating in
go.
a
Thank
deficit.
you.
Yes.
You're
Mhm.
operating in a deficit. So it's no longer my job as your provider to take care of these things. That's not my job. It's no longer my job. It's your job to help me help you. So if you're
Mhm.
helping me with eating right, with exercise,
Mhm.
fasting when you need to fast, and y'all know y'all need to be fasting out here. We need to give our bodies a break. We need to give our bodies time to cure itself, to do what God wanted us to do in the first place, because he has created this machine, this body, to cure itself, honestly. But we do so much, like processed foods, sodas, sugar, fats. Dare I say bacon? I won't say bacon. I won't say that. But
Y'all, she looking at my plate. She looking at my plate again, y'all.
Yeah, she's like soda, fats, processed food, all the things that really does impact our community.
oh,
Honestly,
it
yes.
does, and it impacts our community in so many ways. We can, there's a lot we can't do about it. But
Mhm. Mhm.
there's a lot we can do. We can say no to it. We cannot eat it. We can, eat less of it, because
Mhm.
we won't stop, but we can eat
Mhm.
less.
Mhm.
We can do more movement. After dinner, we can get up and walk.
Mhm.
You know,
We can be more intentional.
we can be more intentional, and we can have soda once, twice a week versus every day of the week. I am guilty. It is one of my Achilles heel. I love
Mhm.
Coke. I do. But you gotta drink more water. It just does us no good
Mhm.
to watch what we're eating. We have to get all of this visceral fat from our tummies. We have to
Mhm.
stay well. So that's really all I have to say, y'all. I appreciate.
You've said quite a bit. We're not done talking to you just yet, but you have definitely said quite a bit. She was
Okay.
like, basically, stop eating. and
Listen, y'all, she
walk
looking at
and
my
walk.
plate.
Right. Stop that eating right now and get up and walk. Get up and exercise right now.
It'd be bad if I go and walk back to the buffet table.
Do not. That is not included. That is not 30 minutes. That is not 30 minutes.
You being bad, y'all.
Yes, indeed. Like I said, we do laugh to keep from crying, but
Yeah.
it's necessary. And these are the conversations that, we're out here every week. We're having conversations about our mental health, but also our physical health is just as important,
Mhm.
just as
Mhm.
important. And we're trying to save lives. I guess
Yes,
now, one belly at a time, one prostate at a time, one tata at a time.
Yes, yes. And we need to
exactly.
get our financial health together too. That's another story. But yeah.
Ooh, one bank account at a time.
Listen, that will certainly dry your blood pressure up. Start talking about money.
Listen, and the lack of it is what takes people out. It's not having too much of it; it's the lack of it that takes
Right.
people out.
Listen. That whole rob Peter to pay Paul. It's like what happened
Yes.
when
The,
Peter don't have it either.
okay. The inability to produce income
Yes.
takes people out.
Mhm.
And when
There's no such a thing. But yeah,
what you
Mhm.
say,
Mhm.
no
it's a
such a
thing,
thing as
sis.
inability to produce income.
It's a thing, sis.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
it's a mindset. Because if people don't have their mind right to do those type of things, they're going to struggle in those aspects.
Mhm.
Mhm.
We
We
don't
have
have
to be.
time. We can talk about that at another time. Like,
We will definitely have to invite
Yeah.
you back to have that
Mhm.
conversation, because what I hear and what I do know is that you have a great project in the wind, and I think that it will definitely be helpful for our listeners, because you're right. It's just not about our physical and our mental health, but our financial wealth as well.
Mhm.
mhm.
Mhm. Yeah, we definitely want you to come back and talk finance with us as well. Yeah. But in all seriousness, we, like I said, we joke a lot, but we definitely want everyone to be their best selves, and do what you have to do in order to be healthy. I can't stress to, especially the men, get your annual exams. Go to see your primary care physician regularly. Get your blood work done, because you can look at other things: hypertension, high blood pressure, all of your, you could lack vitamin D and some of the other things that are clear indicators of other things that are going on with your body. And that can only be done during, with blood work, so having that your regular blood work done is certainly a big help in terms of living a healthier life for you. At least, once again, what we talked about earlier, at least when you know what's going on, you can have the opportunity to fix it. And so the best thing to do is start getting those checks and visiting your doctors on a regular basis. And I'm going to challenge the ladies out there: if you have a husband, a father, an uncle, a brother, a son, push them to go get checked. Because oftentimes men are hard-headed. I said it, men, and it is real. We don't go to the doctors like we should. And so women, if you got to drag them there kicking and screaming, it's okay. Let them get over it. They'll be all right. They'll love you in the end.
Maybe, maybe. But one thing for sure is, while you're dragging them, don't forget to take yourself.
Exactly.
Because women often put everybody in front of themselves, and this part of a conversation is really about self-care. Everybody has to make that own personal decision for themselves and the best choices for themselves. No one can make you follow the routines. No one can make you do these things. We all have to do better to make better decisions, because like you said, when we know better, we do better, or at least we should, or at least we should.
Exactly. And we are only passing this way but once. And this is a life that we get, and we must be better stewards over our lives. That's for sure.
Period. Dot. Males and females, we are all important. Everybody is important. And we need mothers, we need fathers. And so, take all your people out there to get checked.
Definitely. Well, I tell you, I've enjoyed this conversation once again. It is always great to have you back at the table with us. And of course, you have to come back and talk to us. We're going to talk about financial health the next time.
Amen.
All right. So definitely come on back. Yes. Well, I am Dr. Richard Mason.
And I am Dr. Tamara Williams.
Thank you for joining us right here on Smooth 88.1 FM WHOB for the most delicious hour in radio.
The essence of HU.
Keep your fork.
Someday we'll be able to measure the power of words. I think they are things. I think they get on the walls. They get in your wallpaper. They get in your rugs, in your upholstery, in your clothes, and finally into you.
Thank you for joining us at the table.
Tune in next Sunday at 1 p.m. for more delicious topical recipes for life on the Sunday Brunch.
On Smooth 88.1 WHOV.